What's up guys, Clive here from Physiofinesse, and here are 7 tips for faster muscle growth. Now one thing I've noticed about people who try to gain weight is that when they do eventually gain the weight, it's not as healthy, and so they have to use cardio. They have to start falling back to cardio and dieting to try to lose weight and build muscle. And this shift in training isn't always the easiest for everybody. For some people, it's the other way around. They start off with a ton of cardio to try to burn fat, and then from there they want to now start building muscle. So they have to switch from cardio to bodybuilding. So whether it's switching from bodybuilding to cardio or from cardio to bodybuilding, that shift in training is not always the easiest thing. It's not impossible, but it's not always easy and can be very uncomfortable. So what we're about to talk about today will really help you if you want to bulk up but don't want to go through that hassle of going through cardio to eliminate the excess fat you've accumulated while building muscle. So that said, here are 7 tips for faster muscle growth. Before we go on, however, please remember to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe if you like my content. It really does a lot for the channel. Now tip number 1, use all 3 drivers of muscle growth. The 3 drivers of muscle growth are muscle tissue damage, mechanical tension, and metabolic stress. You notice a lot of people use just the first, muscle tissue damage. They focus on getting sore and recovering. Now basically how this works is when you work out, you actually tear your muscle tissues, and then when you eat high protein foods, the amino acids go into the spaces that have been torn and your muscles get bigger when you rest. Now although this of course works, but that's just one of the drivers of muscle growth. So people tend to focus on compound lifts like squats and deadlifts, which cause this kind of growth. They miss out on the other 2. You should also focus on those small range of motion movements where the muscle feels the most mechanical tension at its peak. An example is like coils, like dumbbell coils, like hip thrusters, where you experience mechanical tension in the muscles you are working. Another driver a lot of people miss out on is metabolic stress. You try to incorporate those little pumper exercises using stuff like mini bands or resistance bands. This helps to increase the catabolic activities in muscles like the accumulation of lactic acid, which help muscle hypertrophy in the long term. Now tip number 2, you should consume more of proteins and BCAAs, your branched chain amino acids. Now these branched chain amino acids include valine, isoleucine, leucine, and stuff like that. You must have been taught during primary and secondary school how proteins are the building blocks of your muscles. Now this could not be any more true, but you discover that as you age, your utilization of these proteins and amino acids tend to decrease. So it's also very essential that people that are getting old still use weight training and still focus on building muscles, so their muscles hold on to these amino acids for as long as possible. Another good advantage of taking proteins before and after your workout is that it helps to create a catabolic environment ideal for muscle growth. So always make sure you incorporate more of proteins in your diet while you are on your weight gain journey. And tip number 3, you should stop cutting down rest time. Now when you work out at a gym, there is a difference between cardio and muscle building workouts. We've done a ton of cardio routines on the channel. There's a whole video on what cardio is and the different ways you can do that. You can check it out also on the channel. But we're talking about building muscle. Now, when you're doing exercises to build muscle, you should allow adequate time between sets for your muscles to rest. The less rest time your muscles receive, the less recovery you get. You should try not to turn every single workout session into cardio just because you're trying to get big as fast as possible. You should allow adequate rest time both between the workout sets and when you get home. You should actually sleep on time, allow yourself 8 hours of rest, even if you can't allow yourself to sleep for 8 hours, or you can manage 6, you can manage 5. Sometimes I manage 4, but don't judge me. But anyways, if you are trying to gain muscle, healthy muscle, you should allow adequate rest time in your day and in your session. That will lead us all the way to tip number 4, cutting back on cardio. Now, endurance cardio can be beneficial for many reasons, but like I've said before, you shouldn't turn your weightlifting sessions into cardio sessions. Endurance cardio may be good, but it can be catabolic to muscle tissues, which makes it very, very difficult to build muscle. So you should try to reduce the amount of cardio you do if you are actively trying to build muscle, like cycling for so long, running, jogging, swimming. Boxing could work if you are into that, but you'd have to cut down on those very, very intense cardio, because this can be very catabolic to muscle growth. As you can see, I'm not all that muscular anymore because I have embraced cardio, but it's my choice. But if it's not your choice, then stop doing cardio. Now, tip number 5, finish with isolation moves. You should use these isolation moves to capitalize on all 3 drivers of muscle growth as discussed in tip number 1. You can use this to target those stubborn muscle groups and fully fatigue the muscles, especially using higher rep ranges. That means doing more reps per set. Now, examples of these isolation movements include your basic bicep coils, preacher coils, concentration coils, tricep extensions, overhead tricep extensions, pull-ups, and so on and so forth. These exercises simply have the muscle group being worked in isolation. Like when you do bicep curls, you have your bicep isolated and there's movement at just one joint, hence the name. You should always try to finish up your workout sets using these kind of exercises. Now, tip number 6, do not fear carbs. Carbs aren't your enemies, fats are. You need carbs to provide you with the energy you are going to use to carry weights. You need carbs to provide you with the energy you are going to use to go through the rest of your day. So as somebody who is trying to build muscles, you really should not be so bothered or conscious about carbs. Eat your rice, eat your spaghetti. It's when the carbs get too much that some of them get converted to fatty acids. But that's biochemistry. As far as training goes, if you are somebody who is eating healthy, you shouldn't be shying away from carbs just because you want to build muscle. You can reduce the amount of fats you take, but not the carbs. Okay? So don't run away from carbs. They are very essential to give you the energy you're going to use to work out. Before we go on, please remember to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. It really does help the growth of the channel. Same way I'm trying to help the growth of your muscles. Now on to the 7th tip for faster muscle growth. And finally, tip number 7, you should increase your training frequency. Now, I've mentioned earlier that you should be more conscious of resting between sets and after sets. We should also focus on training the same exact muscle group multiple times per week. This is so you avoid a situation where the muscle group you trained this week, you don't lose it before the next week. You have to progressively push each muscle group that you are targeting. That means you can't just do chest on Monday and you not train chest the next Monday. There's something in fitness called reversibility principle, where you actually lose the adaptations that you've gained via workout. You don't want that to happen if you are actively trying to build muscle. So that's it for this video, people. Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. Please don't be shy to let me know in the comment section which of these tips you must have been following in your personal fitness journey. Let me know the benefits and difficulties you've been getting in your journey to faster muscle growth. You should also consider joining the channel for some exclusive content and membership benefits. You can find the button to join right next to the subscription button right below this video. That said, I will see you guys next week. Stay fit, stay healthy, mad love, peace.